loves, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well, or welcome if you are new. Today I thought I'd sit down and do a bit of a different kind of video. I say that literally anytime it's not a vlog. I'm like, not a weekly vlog, spicing it up. Who is she? But yeah, today I thought I'd sit down and do a what I spend in a week video. I know this was a big trend like a couple years ago and I never got around to filming my own, and every now and then they'll like pop up in my subscription box or like in my recommended and I instantly watch it. It doesn't matter who it is, what they're doing, I want to know what they're spending their money on. I just find it so interesting. Maybe I'm incredibly nosy, and so be it if I am, but I just think it's so interesting seeing how different people with different lifestyles, different ages, geographically, like I feel like it really varies depending on where you live. Just to give you guys a little background if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Ella, I'm 25 and I live in Adelaide, South Australia. So we're no Melbourne or Sydney. The cost of living is definitely a lot cheaper here. I will preface this video by saying this is just 1 week out of 52 weeks in the year. I would say this is kind of like a typical week. There are definitely some weeks where we spend a lot less, and there are definitely some other weeks where we spend a lot more. It really just depends on kind of what we have going on. I feel like a month, what I spend in a month video would be a lot more of an accurate representation. Let me know if you guys want to see that. That could be kind of fun. I don't know how I would do that, like if I'd go through every single transaction for the month. But you guys see if you watch my monthly resets or my budget with me videos, kind of what we typically spend. But I thought it'd be fun to sit down and actually talk through every single transaction and payment that we made throughout this past week, including rent and all of our fixed expenses, as well as just like our general spending. So first things first, starting off with Monday, first thing we spent our money on was First Things First, which is our local coffee shop. We spent $11.70. You guys will see throughout this week a common theme is our coffee spending. I don't want to talk about it. The last couple months I really tried to like rein it back in and we did a great job. But after like Christmas and New Year's, we had a few days off and we're like, oh, we don't really have a big break. Like, let's treat ourselves and buy ourselves a coffee. And it's been so hard to kick the habit. She was not going anywhere. And I think I've learned to accept it. Like, we have pretty good money habits. And if the worst thing that we're spending our money on is going to get a coffee, like, so what? So what? I'm still a rock star. I got my rock move. Yeah, look, it's not the best habit and we could definitely save if we wanted to, and there will be some months where we really want to grind and like save and cut back on that habit, but it is what it is. I've just kind of learned to accept it. It's not even the coffee itself necessarily. Like, we have a beautiful Nespresso machine that we love and use all the time. It's more so like the act of getting a coffee. Like, there's nothing quite like going for a morning walk and like dropping by your local coffee shop and picking up a coffee. Like, it's something quite ceremonious about it. It's more so like the routine and the act of going to get a coffee rather than the actual coffee itself. Our typical coffee order is a large flat white and a large vanilla latte. So that costs $11.70. I should have also prefaced this video by saying this is what we both spend in a week. My fiance Nick and I do share all of our finances. So we have a joint account and joint spendings. And so this is what we both spend, but I'll also give like a final figure of just like what I spend 50-50. And then also on Monday, my Spotify Premium subscription came out. That was $11.99. I'm okay with that. I don't have a lot of subscriptions and I use Spotify all the time, listening to podcasts, music, the full shebang. And then Monday is always a little bit more of like a spendier day because we do go grocery shopping. We typically try and spend between $100 to $120 each week on groceries. That's our full weekly grocery shop, breakfast, lunch and dinner. We always shop at Aldi or Aldi. I say Aldi, you say Aldi, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. We always shop at Aldi. That definitely helps save a little bit of money. So at Aldi, we spent $72.94. That's definitely a lot less than we usually spend. But there is a little bit of a supply chain issue and they were out of like every meat ever. Yeah, a lot of people are unfortunately sick with COVID or are close contacts, so they're having to isolate. So it's a big supply chain issue I've noticed, especially with meat at the moment. And then I think because people are seeing like a lack of product, they're like panic buying when they do see it. So it's like a vicious cycle. Great times. So I ended up having to go to Coles to find meat. They also didn't have any. So we spent $10.15, not on meat, but on some other stuff. I think there was like ketchup that I wanted to buy. There's some things that they have at Aldi that I prefer buying at like Coles and Woolworths. I just prefer the brand name, or like sometimes it's actually cheaper if it's on sale at Coles or Woolies. And then we ended up going to Woolworths. We did the full rounds and we found the meat. We found the meat. All I wanted was a thing of beef mince. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to make tacos. That's all. So we spent $14.80 at Woolworths. So our total amount for groceries this week was $97.89, which is pretty good. We went under budget. We did also go away, you guys will see later. So we knew we weren't going to be there for the full weekend. And then my last purchase for Monday was a new book. I downloaded Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover onto my Kindle. That was $12.99, which is kind of expensive for a Kindle book, but it is what it is. Was that the best money I've ever spent? Updates to come. I still haven't finished, but I'm not really liking it. I'm like maybe 2/3 of the way through. I know it's a lot of people's favorite book. A lot of people rave about it. I'm really hoping that it gets good towards the end, but it's just not my cup of tea so far. I'm just not enjoying it. So my total for Monday was $134.57, which is not too bad. For Spotify, coffee, our full groceries for the week, and a book, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Moving on to Tuesday, our grand total for Tuesday was $0. We did not spend a cent. I think we just worked and ate. That was it really. Yeah, we didn't really do anything. So I spent $0, which we have like 1 to 2, sometimes 3 days a week where we just don't spend any money, and it's a great feeling. We didn't get coffee. We fought the temptation, so love that for us. That's pretty much the only day this week that we didn't buy coffee. Then moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday also would have been a no spend day if we hadn't bought coffee. Again, we spent $11.70 on coffee, which is kind of expensive. How much is that per person? $5.85. I guess that's pretty typical. We also get large coffees. So anyway, $11.70 at First Things First. We are single-handedly keeping that store alive, let me tell you. And then moving on to Thursday, again, we went and got a coffee, $11.70 at First Things First. Don't want to talk about it. And then our only other transaction for the day was at Big W. We spent $56. What did we spend at Big W? Oh, okay. I got bubbles. I spent $56 on bubbles. This was like a random little wedding expense that we had to pay for at our ceremony spot. You can't have any petals or like confetti, anything that's like creates a mess. So our only option is bubbles. So we spent $48 on 2 packs of, I think 24 each on bubbles from Big W. Yeah, just a random little wedding expense that I actually paid for in November. I did a click and collect order to go pick them up, and then I never did, which is, I'm the worst. I got the refund last week and I was like, oh my gosh, the bubbles. So I ended up placing another click and collect order at a different store because I was too ashamed. I was too shy. I could not go back into the other one, and I went and picked them up the same day. So we got the bubbles, and then while we were there, I also picked up some new pens. I got a new planner, so of course I had to get fresh new pens. So our total for Thursday was $67.70, and most of that was spent on bubbles. Just wedding things. Moving on to Friday, we actually spent the night at my parents' house on Thursday, so we could wake up nice and early and go to our old local coffee shop. It's like the other side of town from where we live now, but it used to be our old local, and it's quite close to my parents' house, so we decided to pop in. I know they've really been struggling with COVID, like everyone right now. A lot of small businesses are really doing it tough, especially in like the hospitality and wedding industry, so we wanted to go down and show our support and pick up a couple of things. So yeah, we both ordered coffees and got something to eat, and that total came to $25. Also on Friday, we filled up on fuel, so we spent $40.45 on petrol, which is actually not too bad. That must have been like half a tank. And then Friday is always takeaway night, so we don't really spend any money on takeaway or like eating out throughout the week, but on Fridays we'll treat ourselves to takeaway because no one feels like cooking on a Friday, let's be honest. This week we decided to go get pizza. We went to our local and spent $31.90. That was for 2 large pizzas and some garlic bread. We had a lot left over the next day as well. So our total spend on Friday was $97.35. Now moving into the weekends. I was kind of umming and ahhing about whether or not this was a good week to do a what I spend in a week video because we did go away this weekend, but the only reason we went away is because we had some vouchers and gift cards to use from our engagement party, which was like almost a year ago. We've been meaning to use them, and I'll be honest, like we almost definitely wouldn't have done what we did this weekend if it weren't for those things. So it's still very accurate and like a pretty typical week of spending. So starting off on Saturday, of course, we had to stop and get coffee. What did we buy? $19.10 we spent at First Things First. We got our normal coffee order. I think I splashed out and got an iced latte instead of a normal latte, which are always more expensive at places. Why? Somebody please tell me why. If anything, it's like easier to make. I don't know. Is it the ice? Is that what's really throwing off the budget? I'm not sure. I will definitely be Googling that later, why iced lattes are more than normal lattes. Anyway, yeah, I got a nice latte, Nick got a flat white, and then we also shared a ham and cheese croissant because it was like 11 o'clock and we hadn't eaten anything, and we had a meeting with our celebrant. And then before we checked into our room, we went and grabbed some lunch at Harndorf. Nick got a burger and I got avocado on toast with poached egg. It was really, really nice. And also a freshly squeezed orange juice to share. That was $55. And then we finally checked into our accommodation. We stayed at Longview Vineyard, which is so beautiful. If you guys watched my last weekly vlog, it was stunning. Such a beautiful spot. And we got a vineyard suite, I think it was called. It's like $270 a night. As I said, we did have a voucher for it, so we didn't spend any money. We did, however, go do a wine tasting. Since we were there, we were like, why not? It would be rude not to go to a vineyard and stay the night and not try their wine. So we did a little tasting. I think it was like $15 per person, but it was redeemable on a bottle of wine. So we bought a bottle of Shiraz, which was our favorite, which is interesting because I'm not normally a huge like red gal, but I really liked it. So we spent $30 with the tasting and the bottle of wine. And then to finish off the night, we went to Woolworths and grabbed some dinner. They didn't have any dinner options at the accommodation. The cellar door closed at 4 and the only thing in the kind of general area was the local pub. And so we decided to just like go to Woolworths and buy some dinner there. So we ended up getting a hot chicken and some salad and a couple of snacks, and we spent $19.50. It was actually really nice. We ate it, we sat out on the balcony looking over the beautiful vineyard, sipping our wine, eating our hot chicken. It was great. So our total spend for Saturday was $123.60. Then moving on to the last day, which was Sunday, we of course had to start the day off with a coffee. Common theme, I'm sensing a common theme. I'm sensing the fact that we need to rein it back in, but that's a separate issue. You guys will see that in my monthly reset. My coffee budget is out of control for this month. But yeah, we spent $11 at the local coffee shop. It's called Garage 29, I think it was. And then we were gonna go strawberry picking. We tried to go on Saturday and then we also tried to go on Sunday, and it was so busy. I was like, absolutely not for me. So we ended up having a couple hours to kill. We ended up going to the Big Rocking Horse, which if you're not from South Australia, maybe you're not familiar. It's kind of iconic. Even if you are from South Australia, this is something that Nick had never done before, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to marry a man that's never been up the Big Rocking Horse. I decided to change that, took his Big Rocking Horse virginity. It was lovely. It was an experience. It's actually kind of scary getting up there. If you've ever been up there, you can literally climb it. Like there's just ladders through the whole thing. Kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. I would never go up there with a child because I couldn't think of anything worse. Yeah, it was fun. They also have a wildlife park, so we went in there and like fed some animals, got some water, and Nick also bought a mask because his mask broke. So we spent $22.80, very affordable little day out. It was really fun. And then to finish off our beautiful little weekend away, we decided to go visit Golding Wines. Again, we had a voucher from our engagement party. The voucher was for a picnic for two, I think it's called. It's like Hamper on the Hill. I believe it's $90 for 2 people. They had all these beautiful cheeses and meats and chutneys and fresh bread. It was so lovely. And we just got to sit out on the lawn looking at the beautiful winery and just having a little picnic for lunch. So that was normally I think $90 for 2 people, but as I said, we had a voucher. So our total for Sunday was actually only $33.80. It was a pretty affordable day. Obviously without the vouchers, we wouldn't have done those things. I feel like that's pretty typical of what we normally spend on a Sunday. We usually keep things pretty low key. We'll maybe go out for breakfast or like grab a coffee, go for a nice long walk is our normal Saturday or Sunday routine. I also wanted to include our other fixed expenses. So these are things that we still budget for and are still part of our weekly spending, but we don't necessarily pay for every week. They're like fortnightly or monthly payments. So we have rent. We spend $370 on rent every week. That's for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in Adelaide. I know that's a lot more affordable than some other bigger cities. Yeah, we're pretty lucky here. In saying that though, it's definitely on the rise. I know there's a huge housing crisis right now, so we're actually very lucky to have gotten this house. For bills, it does vary, but we usually set aside $80 per week for our bills. That's for water, gas, electricity, internet. We usually set aside $80, and then when those payments come up, we just take it out of our bills accounts. Then for the gym, our memberships are $10 per week, so we spend $20 total on the gym. Our phone bill works out to be $33.75 per week. I think it's like 130 something per month. And then our private health insurance works out to be $42.50 per week for both of us. Our total amount for fixed expenses every week is $546.25. So the total amount that we spent this week was $1,014.97. Which kind of sounds like a lot, I'm not gonna lie. When you break it down to each person is $507.49, which doesn't sound quite as bad. And then if you take away all of like our boring fixed expenses, it's only $234.36 each, which is not bad at all. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. $1,014.97 for absolutely everything, like internet, bills, rent, groceries, and then just like general living and spending far too much money on coffee. I'm okay with that. $1,014.97 for two people. I don't think it's too bad. It sounds like an awful lot of money when you look at it like that, but that's life. Life is expensive. Yeah, that is everything that I spent this past week. Hopefully you guys found this interesting. I know I talk a lot about money and like our own financial journey, but I think actually talking about like one specific week and going through all of the transactions I think is kind of interesting. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Maybe I could do this like more vlog style next time. Maybe I could do like a what I spend in a month video. Let me know if you guys would like to see anything like that. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Also be sure to follow me over on my Instagram if you guys want to keep up to date with me and my life. Everyone on Instagram always gets things first, so make sure to follow me over on there if you guys want to. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.